Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's time for the Android Police Podcast. Starring your friend of mine, Matthias Smith, Matty Wampus, Matarama Ding Dong, Mandingo Smithicus, Doctor Who, Marco Smitho, and his co-hosts, Cameron Burgundy. Yeah. Hi, Mullins in the chat room. This voice is for you. Oh, BBY. I don't know what that means, but I'm totally in if you are. Hi, Brian. It's Brian, everybody. Brian. I think there's something wrong with my mixer. My voice sounds a little strange.
So, just saw two straight. What the hell?
You saw two straight women?
I just had two straight messages on Twitter that said that the Cavs are now offering Wiggins, and another one right after it said Cavs holding strong on no Wiggins.
Cavs are offering.
I've been reading all day that they're down for trading Wiggins if they can get Love.
I would do anything for Love, but I wouldn't do that.
Oh, good one. That was excellent.
Do anything for love, but I will do that. This is a creepy voice. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's tired. Sound like a chipmunk. Ding 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 ding. Christmas, Christmas time. This is fun.
There. Now I'm in some sort of tunnel. Oh, you know what?
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
They're long.
Somebody's complimenting you on your stereo cam.
Stereo cam.
Oh yeah, it's banging.
Yeah.
How many watts?
Reggie Watts.
Exactly.
I don't know why, but that just reminded me of that ridiculously overdone energy drink commercial. You know which one I'm talking about?
No. I'm not aware of the commercial you speak of.
But I do know Arnold Schwarzenegger. He has those Japanese energy drink commercials. He's like,
Boy, boy.
I just imagine having somebody with that voice as a roommate who reacts really unreasonably to everything.
Hey. That's creepy.
Creepy. New mixer with onboard effects. They've always been there, Piper the DJ. It puts the lotion on its skin. It puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
all right.
Oh, so I just realized that it's actually 7:03 and we can start the show.
Oh, okay. Do you think that's a thing we should do?
You ever seen this before?
Eh.
Seriously, brilliant.
Alright, I'll start the show. Why not? Excuse me. That totally sounded like Thundercats. Somebody said. What did? I wonder.
That's a good Satan voice. Hi, Liam.
Hi, Mullins.
Thundercats! Ho!
My childhood.
Was just ruined. Alright.
Thundercats, ho.
I think we need to explore some of these voices for the
Can we do
intro.
it with that background loop?
Oh, yeah. Go back, back,
Oh, yeah,
back,
yeah, yeah.
back, 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 back. There's raw.
Wait, where did your like West Asian drum loop go from earlier?
West Asian
West
drum
Asia.
loop.
Where did it come from? West Asia.
It's not East Asia. Maybe it's more like Middle Asia.
Yeah, is there a West Asia? Is that a thing you
Maybe it's more like.
I'm just thinking-
Asia.
It's South Central Asia is what it is.
Central
There we go.
Asia? So
There we
it's
go.
it's like Mongolian or
I just meant like west of East.
west of East.
Oh, yeah. That's west of East Asia. Ah,
That is my favorite part
fun
of
and
Asia.
festive place. West of East Asia.
Here, wait.
It sounds like
I
a
can
novel.
play me some. Let's see. where
Sounds like a what?
I can't see.
A novel west of East Asia.
A novel. Speaking of novels, I feel like everyone should
West-
go read Ryan's novel. I finished it this
Yeah.
week, and it's really good.
Everybody should. They should all buy it. Like buy 5 copies of it. It's-
Everyone should go buy it and read it. Seriously, it's super good.
I thank you kindly.
Cameron, if we're gonna pull this off, you can't put your hands up like that.
Oh yeah, I have a boombox on my arm. It's my new tattoo.
Or if
Should I
you're
put
gonna
some
do
little
that, you
music
gotta do
notes?
this so that you're like holding
out?
it, and, like rocking out to it.
Put your hand. I just put it underneath like a serving platter.
You gotta get the groove going. Yeah, right?
My hand doesn't really bend that way.
Hold it like this.
I can't.
That's
My
kinda
God. Let me reach my. How am I gonna get to it there? I'm just.
Yes.
5-part Latin bongo.
But it's so like old school. Like, God, this is harder than it looks. I can't. My brain doesn't function in this dimension. It's seriously. I'm really confused because I'm like, oh well.
Hot sheet.
All right, let's do a show or something.
Oh,
Oh yeah. That's why we're here.
Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Thursday, July 17th, 2014. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm Cameron Summerson.
I'm Liam Spredlin.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
and I'm the guy pressing buttons. My name is Bob Severance. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Welcome.
That's right. 2 welcomes
2 welcomes.
for the price of 1.
That's right.
That's right.
I promise you that this show will not be the worst part of your day. So,
And I promise you that Matt lied.
all right,
One of
rumor
these
roundup.
men is
Let's
lying.
get it started. All right, so starting off with yet another OnePlus rumor. There was a rumor last week about possibly a OnePlus tablet coming, and now the rumor this week about a possible OnePlus 2, as in a second phone coming. But looks like those rumors were all for naught, right, Ryan?
Indeed. So EVLeaks posted a rumor that they were already working on a new phone, and it was going to be codenamed Lettuce, which is kind of funny because the first OnePlus device was called Bacon. So maybe they would make a tomato at some point, and they'd have a little smartphone BLT thing going on.
But then what? I mean, seriously, then what? Mayonnaise?
Mayo.
Then,
Mayonnaise?
then,
bread or toast?
Then none of this happened because that wasn't true. OnePlus responded and said, no, we're still just working on the OnePlus One. You know, that phone that we won't sell to you yet because of reasons. So that happened. And then Cyanogen Inc. actually said, also, we're just focusing on supporting the OnePlus One. There's no lettuce. So apparently that was all completely wrong. So there is no lettuce. And so, I mean, good news, there's only one phone that you can't buy. And people are getting increasingly upset about that.
As they should be.
Yes.
I mean, really. We get righteously pissed off about a lot of things that we shouldn't, but I feel like that one's an okay thing to be annoyed with. I mean, really.
I agree.
I mean, we're told never to settle, so now we have to just wait forever because we can't buy the phone that we're allowed to buy.
Yeah, we already. Yeah, if you're already committed to not settling.
So let's talk about a device that is more likely actually going to be coming and available, like you can purchase it even though it exists. The EV Leaks Twitter account has dropped yet another leak this week. It's an Nvidia Shield tablet. Of course, I think we've heard some rumblings about this before, Cameron. So what do we know? What do we know about the Nvidia Shield tablet?
Not a whole lot really at this point. We've seen like benchmarks leak from.
Maybe not.
Oh,
maybe just really
what?
bad lag.
Wait, what? Yeah, totally bad lag because it was not muted.
No, you were talking and I could not. I could see you talking. Yeah, there's just bad lag.
Really bad lag.
Really bad lag.
Is it still bad?
So go ahead, talk about it. Probably.
Okay. So we don't know a whole lot about it at this point. We've seen some benchmarks leaked from what we can assume was a Shield tablet, but this picture is basically all we have to go on. It looks a lot like the Tegra Note 7, maybe a little more refined. Looks like it has some front-facing speakers and a front-facing camera, and that is literally it that we see in this shot. So that's pretty much all we know. It's going to come at some point. Nvidia will undoubtedly announce this, and we'll see what it's all about then.
So is this not going to have a controller built into it then, I take it?
It doesn't look like it. I mean, it's just a standalone tablet. So unless there's some sort of controller attachment or... I mean, we did see a controller pass through the FCC a while back, and like some people said, maybe it's Shield 2, but there was no info passed. I mean, it just looks like a controller. So
yeah, that screenshot...
it's hard to say.
That screenshot has a tab, I think, in the UI that's up that is labeled controllers. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had some sort of cheap peripheral that you could get, or maybe it'll even come with it that is sort of intended to serve the purpose.
Yeah. It's the screenshot is showing the Tegra Zone app, and I'm assuming the controller section is controller-supported games. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it may. I don't know. I guess we'll see whenever this becomes a thing.
So I guess my question about it is, if it doesn't have a controller built into it, which seems kind of obvious because, you know, taking like a 7-8-inch tablet and flipping it over top of a keyboard sounds wonky. What makes it a Shield? Like, what is the defining thing that makes it a Shield if it doesn't have the controller built in?
I can assume that it makes it a Shield because it's NVIDIA built. I mean, it's NVIDIA branded, whereas like Tegra Note 7 was more of a design reference that other manufacturers could use to build their tablet. Like EVGA made the Tegra Note 7, and then HP had the Slate 7 Extreme, and stuff like that. So the biggest difference with the Shield is that it was made by NVIDIA. Everything about it is through and through NVIDIA. They provide the OTA updates. So I just see that as maybe their in-house brand that they're trying to build, you know, a family for or something. A family of devices under their own Shield branding.
All right. Well, I guess that's what we'll have to assume for the time being. Hopefully there'll be some more news about that coming out before too much longer. In the meantime, let's move on to Android at ARMS. Right, so it wasn't all that long ago that unlocking your cell phone was a perfectly legal and okay thing to do. More recently than that, it was not legal and not okay to do, and you had to get together with gangs of unsavory individuals in back alleys in order to get your phones unlocked. But
back alleys in Brazil?
Back alleys in Brazil, that's correct. Brazilian street gangs that are unlocking phones.
It's true.
It's
a true statement.
So it looks like the arena might be changing a little bit when it comes to unlocking phones, because it seems as though we're on the verge of having it legalized again, right, Ryan?
Yeah, so a bill was just passed in the U.S. Senate that matches one in the House that was passed a few months ago that would direct the Library of Congress to reissue the exemption for cell phone unlocking. We had an exemption a few years back that made unlocking legal. But then in 2012, when that was reevaluated, the Librarian of Congress decided that we didn't need the exemption anymore. It's an exemption to an article in the DMCA that is for anti-circumvention, because you could consider, breaking a carrier lock to be circumventing a technological measure. So it looks like we'll have these two bills reconciled pretty quickly, and it should be signed into law. But this doesn't mean it will be legal forever. It basically just says that the Library of Congress will issue the exemption again, and they will consider extending it the next time it is up for review. But either way, I mean, it's not going to be hard to actually unlock your device, even if it's technically legal. I mean, this whole time you've been able to get unlock codes online for not a huge amount of money, and people haven't really, I mean, it hasn't really been enforced. Nobody that I'm aware of has gotten in trouble for unlocking their device, and you don't even have to wander into a sketchy favela in Brazil to do it. So, but I guess it makes a lot of sense to have unlocking your phone be completely legal. So let's hope that sticks this time.
Yes, let's hope. All right, let's move on to Code Google. All right, so Google I/O this year was all about material design, and they promised coming in that the app updates would be rolling out to the Google-branded apps with material design slowly leaking in, and it looks like they're on the verge of rolling that out to the Play Store. So, Liam, what do we know about an upcoming redesign of the Play Store?
Yeah, so we know that there's an update in testing. We don't know when it's going to be released, hopefully soon. But it looks a lot closer to the screenshots that we saw in the design sessions at I/O. So the main thing that's changed is the content listing page, which now focuses on huge hero images. So if you're looking at an album in the Play Store for like the music section, then the album cover fills the entire screen behind with a little sheet of paper sliding up that contains the info that you want. Likewise for movies, it's usually the trailer behind the listing. For books, it's just a colored header because book covers are rectangles, and that wouldn't really make as an asset that developers have already uploaded to the Play Store or the video if they have one. So it looks pretty cool. It's obviously still not done. There's a lot of information that we saw in the screenshots at I/O that isn't in there yet, but presumably it will be once it gets released.
I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I look at the ones where it's like the video that's behind it, and I feel like they're just not cropping properly, that it just kind of looks goofy with the completely obscured video in the background.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is some work that could be done. I think it's interesting that they are moving the focus away from slamming you with a bunch of text information, like reviews and descriptions and all that stuff right up front, and instead giving you visual information.
Right.
I think a lot of developers are going to have to rework their promo images around this because they, from what we've seen, don't look that great right now. Because a lot of developers have a tendency to just put like their app's name or their logo like right in the middle, and it gets covered up by the interface.
Right.
So it'll take some adjustment.
I will say the one that they had from the presentation at I/O, like for the Grand Budapest Hotel, that one looks better than the one that we have in the screenshot. So I don't know if maybe it's gonna, that little card is gonna inch its way down to kind of let you see more of the video in the background or not. But I'd hope to see it.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a work in progress. Like it's something that we're not really supposed to be seeing. So they're still working on it.
All right, so let's talk about something else that's a work in progress. Nest, Google, of course, Google owning Nest, but in addition to Nest, is Google listed, and Samsung, ARM, and maybe some other folks are teaming up to form what looks like it's going to be a project to help the Internet of Things, cringe, get a little bit more robust and a little bit more open, right, Liam?
Yeah, so Google's doing what it does and participating in an effort to create a platform or an open standard for something that desperately needs it, which is basically connected home items. And they're doing it with the help of Samsung and ARM, which is cool because at least there's a partnership going on there. Whether it's going to succeed where other attempted standards have failed remains to be seen. But apparently it's going to rely on mesh networking, which is a pretty smart way of doing it. There's no real brain or anything. All of the devices can route information. So yeah, I mean, it sounds promising. Whether it will work, again, we don't know, but we can hope.
I just want to point out that
go ahead.
I just realized that my shirt and my headphones match my boombox.
That's awesome.
So
that's pretty great.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
But
sorry, delay is killing me here.
Put them in your purse.
But since we're on the subject, short of Cameron's interruption of of home automation, we should also mention there were some pretty cool leaks this week regarding Android Wear and how it can be used in conjunction with home automation, right, Cam?
Well, it wasn't really a leak; it was a demo. This guy showed off how he basically controlled his lights and his popcorn maker and his PC and his TV all from his G-Watch, and he also had it set up so it would send notifications if any of the doors or windows in his house were open. I don't know, it's really cool stuff. There's a big lag though. Is the bad part when he talks to the watch. There's like a 10-second wait. He's like, "Okay, Google, turn on the lights," and it's like 10 seconds later it does things. So Google still has some work to do there, turning on the lights and whatnot. But turning on the lights, I'm sorry. Google has some work to do there, fixing the lag. I'm sorry, I have no idea. Google, turn on my damn lights and make it fast.
Well, that's why it took so long, because that was actually the transit time. That was the transit time from California to wherever he lives to turn on his lights.
Yeah, every demo I've ever seen of the Google Voice stuff being used to do home automation always has that kind of crazy lag because these aren't like officially supported functions. So there's some sort of hackery going on to make it happen.
Well, it even takes it a while for it to pick up, to detect, that he said anything in the first place. It's like, okay, Google, and then he has to wait. And I mean, it's slower. It's slower than it is on the phone.
It kind of varies a lot. Sometimes I feel like the watch is really snappy, and other times it just sort of, for no apparent reason, just sort of waits for a few seconds.
I feel like Google's goal ultimately is going to be to do more predictive handling of this stuff. So it wouldn't be so much on demand, but you would just say like, when I walk into the living room, turn on the lights at some point before you walk into the living room, obviously, and then it will just do that when you do that action. I could be totally wrong, but that's my guess.
Maybe.
I love the fact that when we have these conversations, we trigger everyone's phone who's listening.
I know. I purposefully said, "Okay, Google," like several times during that, just so that would happen. Like I did it on purpose.
And for fun, why don't we talk about Xbox One turn on or Xbox One turn off? Doesn't that do something?
I don't know if it do. I don't know. Does it?
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the first Android Wear launcher that's been released this week, and it's called Wear Mini. Sorry, launcher, and it sounds like it's going to be pretty useful to folks who want to run and launch apps. I mean, the integration in the stock Android Wear isn't really that good for getting to apps quickly, is it, Ryan?
Yeah, so the way Wear is set up right now is if you want to launch an app that has been installed to the phone over Bluetooth by some app on your phone, you have to go into the search screen and then scroll all the way down to the bottom of that interface, and then you get to your app list, which is super awkward. I mean, if you are in a situation where you can launch by voice, that's usually better, but not all apps have names that are easily recognized. So it's kind of a pain. And so the way this launcher works is you swipe in from the left side of the screen towards the sort of top half of the watch, and it pulls out a little drawer with all of your apps in it. And it has since been updated with options to change the number of columns and how big the icons are. And now, in fact, just today it was updated with an expanded quick settings menu, so you sort of drag out again, and it has a brightness slider, which was actually in there in the last update, but now it's in the separate screen. There's a brightness slider, and then there are also toggles for the phone, so you can turn Wi-Fi and like the ringer on and off from your watch, which is kind of neat. I feel like this app has sort of taken a little bit of heat from people who think that this isn't how Android Wear is supposed to work. But the thing is, like, there are apps for it. Like a lot of the things Google promotes on their Android Wear app page, it installs the little mini APKs to the device, and you should have a better way to launch them. So it exists, and I think it's pretty cool.
Sweet. So something that I suspect we will probably debate the coolness of got demoed this week as well. The Minuum keyboard, as many of you remember from its, I don't remember, was it Kickstarter or Indiegogo? Or does it even matter which one it was? It was one of them. Minuum, the single-line keyboard for everything. Looks like it's porting its way over to Android Wear as well, right, Liam?
Yes. So Minuum, they put a single-line keyboard on stuff that they can put a single-line keyboard on. They did it for Android, and then they did it for Glass, though I don't know if that ever actually came out to the public. And now they've done it for Wear. So that's a thing. And a lot of people are not happy about it because, as I understand it, the argument is that Android Wear is a very new platform and kind of actively going after the functionality to make it work the way that Minuum wants it to, for there to be text input and everything, is a bad call because they don't, people don't want developers to start focusing on things like that aren't really the experience that Google wants to provide. I'm not personally worried about it, but it exists.
So we're not going to get any outrage comments from the Peanut Gallery on this one?
No, let's not fight
Not for
about
me.
it.
No,
Let's
I don't
just
have
love
strong.
each
I
other.
don't have strong feelings about this either way. Other people can be upset about it.
outraged. Arr.
I think it's dumb, but
Like I
it's
said
dumb
before
enough
the
to
show, my only strong feeling about this is that nobody should be actively angry about it.
Liam's only strong
my only
feeling is that
opinion.
nobody should have strong feelings about it. Everybody should just be chill.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Everybody should be more like...
If you don't like it, cool. If you do like it, awesome.
Everybody just be a Fonzie about it.
Well,
Oh,
I think it's important to remember that somebody at some point, if you buy an Android Wear watch, somebody at some point is going to hold a gun to your head and make you load it and use it.
Yeah, you'll have no choice but to type on it.
I want the Minuum keyboard tattooed on my arm, and then I can type and look at the display on my watch at the same time.
Well, it's funny because they actually did that like in their demo.
Yeah,
Right.
they did.
I thought you were gonna
They showed
say-
it like, yeah.
If you had a tattoo of the keyboard and you press buttons on it, it makes more tattoos on your arm.
I hate that keyboard. I don't even like that keyboard at all.
When I first
used it, or
used
do
it,
you just hate it
when
on principle?
Oh no, I backed it. I backed it on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or wherever the hell it was, and I have hated it ever since I got it. So
when I first used it, I thought it was it's kind of impressive how you usually get the word that you want, but when you don't, it's a huge pain to change it. And if you want to type anything that's not a dictionary word, it's the biggest pain in the butt ever. So,
yeah,
I've tried it a few times, and I feel like it just hasn't gotten better over time. I mean, it was an interesting idea, but I don't think it's an idea that is viable in the long term.
yeah, it's every keyboard I've ever tried, and I've tried so many. I just keep going back to SwiftKey. I mean, and you know what? I don't have Android Wear, but when I get it, I don't want a damn keyboard on it.
I don't even use SwiftKey anymore. I just use the stock Google keyboard on everything. I feel like the swipe input on the Google keyboard is more accurate than SwiftKey. I always get frustrated when I try to use SwiftKey for that.
I always feel like I actually was a pretty big fan of SwiftKey, but I feel like lately, like using the stock keyboard, it feels like it's more responsive. Like when you press keys, there's less latency on the. I don't know.
I feel like maybe there's an argument to use SwiftKey on like large tablets because they have that neat undocking thing where you can make like a smaller version of the keyboard sort of float and drag it over to one side of the tablet, so that's like more comfortable than like trying to stretch your thumbs across a giant screen or whatever. But otherwise, I don't use it much anymore.
Right.
I have not used the stock Google keyboard in so long.
You should do that and report back. Let us know how you like it.
I do like I like the keyboard in the L release. I like it a lot, and I don't know. I have a feeling that it's the same keyboard. It just looks different, so it's like placebo that makes me think it works better. But I don't know.
You might feel less stressed because there are no separations between the keys. You just press sort of around that letter, and you're like, sure, whatever. You're not like I have to be in the border of this key to make sure it picks up correctly.
It's weird because
there's one
normally
key that does have a border.
I hate the keyboards that don't have separation between the letters, and I actually like it in L. So I don't know. I'm actually changing my default keyboard right now to the stock keyboard. I'm going to use it for a while and see what I think.
All right. Well, more on that at some point in the future, or not. One thing that leaked out for Android Wear this week. I shouldn't say leak. I keep saying leak. I don't think it means what I think it means. One other thing that came out this week was a Matrix-style falling code watch face for Android Wear. Of course, that was bound to happen eventually, but Google has actually come out this week and said, for those of you out there that want to make custom watch faces for Android Wear or want to use custom watch faces for Android Wear, you should probably not. At least not for now, right, Ryan?
Yes. Custom watch faces are kind of broken right now, and unless developers design them in a very specific way, they are essentially useless. So let me quickly show the camera. See, that's a watch face. You see how you can't see anything on it? Because the card covers almost half of the screen. There's no way for custom watch faces right now to call up the smaller peak card at the top, because when you go back to the watch face on Wear, your top card in the stack is always sort of just peeking up from the bottom. The stock watch faces that take up most of the screen have the ability to shrink that card down to just a tiny bit at the bottom, but all the third parties can't do that. And there are some other things that they can't do with dimming the screen properly or interacting with the card stack in other ways that Google hasn't specified exactly. But Google's still working on an API that will give developers the ability to do all of that stuff. And for the time being, they're recommending that they don't put these watch faces live on the public Play Store that they use, the beta program. There are a handful that actually do work pretty well because they essentially they're the smaller, watch faces. They're just, they're like usually digital and they take up just the space at the top of the screen, so it doesn't matter if they can produce the smaller peak card. But so for right now, most of these custom watch faces are broken and you shouldn't use them.
Which is interesting considering, that Motorola had that whole custom watch face design thing.
Yeah, well, I assume by the time the 360 is out, they will have that sorted, and then, I mean, if they're going to actually make the watch face that won, which makes me kind of sad because it wasn't a very good one, they will probably have it built into the software, so it will have the access it needs to do that. But Google said that this API is going to be done soon, and then like there will be a sort of expanded full version of it available when they move Wear to the L release later this year.
Good deal. All right, so one last little bit of Android news this week, and actually I don't even know that it's that much Android, more Google. But apparently the gentleman behind Google Glass and these smart contact lenses that we've been seeing pop up every now and again has left Google and is heading to Amazon. I want to try to pronounce his name, but I really don't. Babak Parviz? Does that sound about right, Liam?
Yeah, I think I heard Babak Parviz, but he came from the University of Washington and worked on a bunch of eye-related crazy technology for Google, including the glucose contact lens and Google Glass, and a few other things apparently that we don't know about yet publicly. But now he's going to Amazon to work on, quote, a few other things now. So it seems reasonable to assume that Amazon might be getting into the kind of like experimental left field kind of technology that he is great at directing. Nobody can say for sure yet, but that's probably my guess.
I mean, maybe this is a little bit out there, but obviously they did their whole thing with parallax displays and sensors, and I think they've done a lot to kind of trick the eye. So do you think maybe it's something down that line, possibly?
I mean, it could be. It could be anything. I mean, the stuff that he worked on at Google was totally crazy, so it's not unreasonable to assume that with Amazon coming out with the Fire Phone and all that 3D jazz, that he might be doing something further along those lines. Yeah. Had something else to say, and I totally lost it.
Well, Bob has something to say. Hot sheet. Bob has a hot sheet to say.
Hot sheet to say.
Hot sheet.
All right, so LG had an announcement this week. It was is a new phone. It's a new phone from LG. It's not exactly the flagship device you were looking for, but maybe not bad if you're in the mid-range market, right, Cam?
Yeah, maybe not. They've got the beat. They've got the beat.
They've
got the beat. Yeah, they've got the beat. Yeah, they've got the beat. So it's the LG G3
the whole
Beat.
show to make that joke.
Turn the beat around, Cameron.
Yeah. So the LG G3 Beat, and basically it's what you would call the G3 Mini, except for they used Beat instead of Mini. It's smaller. It's a 5-inch display. It's 720p. It's got a 1.2 gigahertz Snapdragon 400, 1 gig of RAM, 8 gigabytes of storage. I mean, it's a low-end phone. And yeah, I don't understand the trend of releasing a flagship and then releasing a mini version or a crappier version of it. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand why they do this. It has the rear key stuff, just like the G3. I mean, and this is not just LG. Like every company does this now. They take the name of their flagship, release a smaller, crappier version of it, and give it the same name. So anyway, that was announced today.
Oh,
it's
ahead.
profit. It's for profit. They're doing this so that they get people thinking that they're getting the flagship device, and they're not. They have higher margins.
So they think they're getting something better than they actually are. Yeah.
Right. Well, people are also going to say, my phone's got the beat, and they don't even know what that means, but they hear the term beats, and they're like, well, my phone's beat. So it's one of them galaxies with a beat. Everybody uses these terms like they know what they're talking about.
That's true.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this wouldn't be an ongoing trend the way that it is if it wasn't working. I think it probably fits in a little bit more in markets where Everything isn't either subsidized or payment planned. So that's my guess. I think this is really for other markets. It'll sell here, like it'll be available and people can buy it, and maybe somebody will walk into the store and think it's cute. I don't know. That could happen, but yeah, it'll be here. But I don't think it's made. I don't think it's made for us. What do you think?
I don't think it is either. Nope.
All right, so let's talk about chips. This time, boring silicon chips instead of the kind with salsa and/or chip dip. MediaTek has announced a new chip this week. It is 64-bit, which means that, well, actually, Cam, what does it mean?
It means it's a 64-bit chip. So it's technically the first 64-bit true octa-core. For those who are not watching the video, I did do air quotes, true octa-core. I don't really know what they mean by true octa-core. I think they mean that it's not like Big Little, but it supports LTE. It also has support for up to 2K displays. So, I mean, it's a MediaTek chip. They don't have the best reputation. It's still cool that they're doing stuff. Who knows that it'll even make its way outside of the Asian markets? I kind of doubt it. But it's still kind of neat that they're the first one to market with an octa-core 64-bit processor, when there are other companies still trying to finalize theirs so it actually works. But yeah.
Wait, so
they said it'll be released closer to the end of the year.
So what cores are they using? Because aren't most of MediaTek's chips like the little versions of the Big Little cores?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess a lot of their lower end are A7 chips, which is the little of Big Little.
Yeah.
I think Big Little is usually A15 and A7. So yeah. the lot of their lower end, like
I wonder.
the
I
1.2
don't remember.
gigahertz.
I don't remember what the model numbers are for the 64-bit version of Big Little. They were announced a while back, but I wonder if. I mean, this can't possibly be 8 cores of like the big version of the 64.
Yeah, they didn't give any details on architecture.
I feel like they're being a little bit disingenuous. Just a guess though. Maybe they're doing something that I'm totally not expecting, but I am skeptical.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Totally agree with you. They said, like, they specifically used the words true octa-core. But you know what? I just realized that in the press release, the word true is capitalized. So
yeah, that's their new brand. The true, true chips.
Yeah, it's clearly part of the brand. Oh my God, what a load of crap. Like, I guess I just skimmed over that before, but yeah, it's the T is totally capitalized, so they have it's yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like some sort of branding. True octa-core is what they're calling it. Oh my God, MediaTek.
Somebody got promoted for coming up with that, because that is pretty genius.
It really is. It really is, because I mean, yeah, I just skimmed right over that.
You know what else is genius? Liam's method for making you think he didn't fall asleep listening to that.
Yep, it works well.
It does. Oh my God, his eyes just jumped halfway across the screen and then back. Liam, you're freaking me out.
He's possessed. Get the exorcism tongs.
I happen to have some of those just like right behind me. It's so weird.
I wish they would blink. I want them to blink. But like at uneven intervals. I want one at a time.
All right, so let's move on to other news.
It's time for other news. It's the news other than what we've been talking about.
I just want to say I absolutely love that intro.
It's Kickstarter week on. It's.
Mostly the spoken word part of it.
I know why you love this intro, Cam. It's because it's got kind of some similarities to the Cool Guy music.
It really does.
Yeah, it's got that. It's got that cool guy feel. That's why you love it so much.
Oh, man, I love that. That's like, I still think that's my favorite video on YouTube. Like, of all the videos, that's,
Have
I
you
think
seen
Cool
the
Guy is
sequel?
my favorite.
Have you seen the sequel?
No, I didn't know there was a sequel.
There's a sequel. Yes.
Oh my god.
I have mixed feelings about the sequel, but that's the way sequels go.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm gonna watch it, just not right now.
Yes, just please wait until after the show's over. We'll make it quick, I promise. All right, so it's Kickstarter week. In other news, we've got first of all Console OS, which is aiming to make Android run on a PC and have it not be terrible. So Ryan, do they have any idea how to do that? Do you have any faith that they're going to make it not terrible on a PC?
Well, they do. They do have demo units that are working. They seem to be running Android appropriately on a PC. So basically, the idea is that they're going to take the open source version of Android and they're going to tweak it so that it runs on Intel chips correctly, like a desktop Intel part. And doing that makes it really, really fast because Intel chips compared to all of the ARM chips that we have in phones and tablets are really fast. Like a Core i5 will run Android really well if you build it for that system. So they got the funding that they needed. They are asking for $50,000, and now they're up at almost 60, I think, right now. And the idea is that you'll get this, and it will have their own console OS store for games that have been optimized to run with higher quality graphics. And then there will also be support for the Amazon App Store, and they're doing this sort of this odd cloud sort of upload service where you'll put an app on your phone or tablet, your regular Android device, and it will take the APKs that you have from Google Play and beam them up to the cloud, and they will be synced down to your console OS device. However, they didn't explain exactly how that was going to work with paid apps that are encrypted. It's my understanding that probably wouldn't work, and if it did, it might be illegal. So I don't know for sure what's going to happen with that, but it'll be free for everybody to use the basic functionality, but then they'll also have a subscription plan. I think it'll be $20 a year, and they'll do a couple of extra things if you subscribe to that. And one of them is this Insta-switch thing where you can toggle back and forth between Windows and Android without rebooting your computer, which is pretty neat. If you back the Kickstarter, you get a lifetime subscription to that included in the price. I think you have to pay $10. Yeah, you have to pay $10 to get in on that.
So, am I the only one who thinks that the whole name Console OS means that it's really not intended to be a total PC replacement? It's just a gaming thing.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Kickstarter, that's most of what they talk about, but they do also kind of say like, oh, but you could run the Gmail app on your convertible tablet PC thing or whatever, which I mean I guess could be interesting. Like if you want to have access to a really good Gmail client on a tablet that's not running Android, then sure, why not? But yeah, I feel like it's mostly going to be a gaming thing because they do spend a lot of time talking about the improved visual quality of games.
Hold up, Mr. Lover.
Hold up, I got it sewn up. Me and my brothers is about to blow up.
Okay, proceed.
All right, so the next news we have out of Kickstarter that's Android related is the Ink Case Plus e-ink case. It's reached its Kickstarter funding goal. For those of you who don't remember, I believe this was introduced. Was this introduced back at CES, Cam? Initially?
Mobile World Congress.
Okay.
I think. Mobile World Congress? Yeah, I believe it was Mobile World Congress. Anyway, so this thing is interesting, I guess. Okay, so it's a Bluetooth e-ink display for your smartphone. And it comes with a case that goes on your phone, and you can put the e-ink display in it and close it. So it of course, it effectively probably doubles the thickness of your phone. But the whole idea is to have a secondary display that is super low power consumption, so you don't drain your battery. I guess that maybe some people will like this idea. I don't even understand why I just can't. I just don't understand. I can't wrap my brain around why I would want to add a Bluetooth second display to my phone, regardless of whether it's e-ink or not. I don't know. Maybe if you need to maximize battery life to the extreme, then sure. But I don't know. I guess it has its uses, but I'm definitely not sold on the idea.
So what is it supposed to show you? Do you have to like send things to it, or can it like listen to notifications, or?
I'm not entirely sure how it does or what it's. I mean, how it. I don't know. I watched the video and they don't really do a good job of explaining it. I know on parts they do something on the phone and then they turn the display off and close the case, and what they were just looking at is already on the e-ink display.
Yeah, that doesn't seem particularly useful. If they could develop a way to like just suck all of your notifications into that kind of like Android Wear does, then I could see maybe a use case for that if you wanted to just see what your notifications are without waking the phone up.
Here's the impression I got. The impression I got is that it's going to have something that's going to tie into the notification API. So it's going to be an app you're going to have to load on your phone. And that app is then going to push it via Bluetooth.
Blue poop.
Blue poop, yes. It's what happens after you eat too many sweet tarts. Yeah, but I think there's going to be an app that's going to have to push it over the Bluetooth connection to that display, similar to what Pebble does.
So I mean, but they show a lot of reading things, and like I don't want to read a book on a super tiny screen like that. Like reading a book on a phone
is an e-ink display, and I was about to laugh.
No. I mean, like reading on like a phone screen is lame just because it's usually pretty small. Maybe not like on a phablet, but I mean this I don't know how big the screen is, but it looks really tiny, like maybe 3.5 inches.
Yeah, it's not very big at all.
Like personally, like I don't know if any of you guys have gotten a chance to use like the ultra power saving mode or whatever on the Galaxy S5, where it puts you in like black and white and makes your screen last for like 6 years, or your battery lasts for 6 years. It seems to me like that kind of approach is more what I would want to see from something like this. Maybe if it went into that kind of mode as like a screensaver kind of a mode, but I know e-ink has the ability to show the same thing for a lot longer without burn-in or whatever. So
yeah, I mean it only has to refresh when you change the image on it, so it can show the same thing indefinitely.
Right. But anyways, it's a thing. It exists, and it looks like it's well on its way to becoming a product that you can buy, or at least that's the goal with Kickstarter.
Yeah, that looks like they're gonna make a whole bundle of money. Geez, it's already 163,000.
Goodness. All right, well that's it for other news. Do we want to play some voicemails?
No.
I would like to. We should definitely play voicemails. That sounds awesome. Is that a game that has to do with like shouting and hurling nails at people, or because that
No, it's actually voice snails.
Voice snails.
Look at that escargot.
Talking to snails. Okay. I'm down with that too.
Look at that escargot. I love it.
We have 2 really long voicemails that didn't get transcribed. We could listen to them, or we could not.
Let's listen,
guys. If you're calling in to leave a voicemail, which we very strongly encourage you, leave voicemails. It's great, but leave short enough ones that we get a transcription, because half of the fun of a voicemail is Bob reading the transcription. So. That's all I'm going to say about that. Are you playing it?
Hey guys, it's Brian. I do not have a question this week, I don't believe. Instead, I have a rant. So I just finished reading you guys an article about the LG G3 Beat. Basically, I think of this as an insult to consumers. It's a load of crap. I'm so tired of OEMs making their flagship phones and then making a smaller version with incredibly undercut internals. I don't think it's fair to consumers, and I honestly don't think that it's what consumers want. I don't understand why they can't figure out to make a 5.5-inch phone or a 6-inch phone along with a 4.7-inch phone. Both have the same internals, battery, processor speed, internal memory, RAM. Why they can't figure this out? I mean, how frustrating is this for you guys? Or maybe a question is, what do you think is the ideal thing that you can do here? Do you go with a 5.5-inch quad display phone, all internals, compared to a 4.7-inch 720 display phone, same internals? I don't know. What's you guys' take on this? Because I think it's incredibly frustrating, and I think OEMs are a bunch of idiots that they can't seem to figure this out. What's going on here? All right, thanks, guys. Looking forward to the show. Bye.
Well, I think we covered the official specs of the phone pretty well earlier, and the general opinions of it. Does anybody else have anything they want to add about the lower end rip-offs of the flagship devices that we've been seeing?
Well, I think that there are a lot of really good arguments for smaller phones that are still pretty high-end, but I think also the people who really care about that are a minority, because people buy big phones. People like big phones. I've seen people with tiny hands that love their notes, and it's probably just not as financially viable for companies to put the time into designing two very high-end devices that are just different sizes. At least that would be my guess. I have no direct knowledge of how LG works when they design crappy little phones. But I mean, hopefully Motorola continues with making not humongous phones that are very good, because at least then there's that.
I know. I'm so bummed thinking about
I think to the argument about big phones with small hands. I think that you get to a point where when your hands are so small, you're gonna have to use two.
You're gonna have to use two what?
I was gonna say you have to use two hands on just about any phone. You might as well get a phone that's got a big ass display.
Kind of. I mean, it's I really like the size of the Moto X. I think it's a really good phone, but at the same time, like, it's just not. I mean, that's just not the way the market is going. People have gotten used to the idea of a 5-inch phone with really slim bezels being, close enough to usable with one hand. Like, you can, sort of awkwardly tap at most of the screen, and most of the time you have a second hand to use it. So
yeah,
I feel like
I have a second hand.
the motivation just isn't there for companies to make flagship phones that are smaller as well, because people think of a bigger phone as a better phone.
A 5-inch.
People
5-inch
get used
display.
to the type of battery life that you get when you've got that large frame to put the battery.
Yeah, I mean, it's also I was gonna say it's also easier engineering to fit everything into a phone where you have more area like that. I mean, you can make it thinner and do it easier than cramming everything into a smaller body.
Right. Have we got another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want me to play it?
Sure.
Hello, AP. I apologize for my absence last week, but surprisingly, I was installing a brand new towel rack. To make up for my absence, I have two questions. Number one, many people that I associate with are finally receiving the Samsung Galaxy S 4.4 update on their various devices. Be advised, this ranges anywhere from the Galaxy S3 all the way to the Galaxy S5 and many others in between. My problem is this. Many of the MP3 files that used to play under a previous build are no longer playing. This can range anywhere from legitimately ripped MP3s to downloaded to transcribed to even independently recorded. There is no rhyme or reason to this failure to play. The device citing the following error, quote, file not supported, unquote. The investigative research that I've conducted concerning this situation has come to prove that, yes, this is a problem with the Samsung framework. However, there is no workaround provided. Do the Android police have a workaround for this issue so that I can pass on to those that I associate with, and they can have full functionality of their MP3s. Question.
I'm going to stop it there because there's another question. But does anybody have any ideas on the MP3s?
No.
Bust out your old iPod.
Boy, I wish I did.
No. Has anybody? This may seem super trivial and super simple. But has anyone tried just clearing the data for the music player app and seeing if, basically a refresh of the app helps? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't.
That's maybe the first thing to do. And then the other thing, I think, you will need a chicken and a large stone pedestal for sacrificing the chicken. Pick the war god of your choice, sacrifice the chicken, and then sprinkle the blood on the phone. And that should do it.
You need to put milk in your phone, is what it is.
You also have to eat the rock.
In your phone.
Yes.
And I was going to make an actual suggestion where you could potentially use a program like Audacity and re-export using different MP3 encoding settings the same file to see if it'll play that way. It could be possible that something during an upgrade, some codecs or settings got messed up.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good legitimate suggestion, is just try to re-encode the MP3s with, get the newest version of whatever, like LAME or whatever people are using these days, and just do it again.
Yep.
Are there any apps for Android that can encode MP3s?
There probably are.
Because I'm just sitting here thinking the thought of downloading a podcast on my phone, pulling it over to a computer so that I can re-encode the MP3 and then put it back on my phone just sounds like a giant pain in the rear.
I guess I'm assuming that these are older files. I mean, that's maybe just an assumption that I made.
Well, this is a voicemail, so you asked that in a way that you thought you would get an answer, and we don't have one for you.
Well, then what good are you?
Sorry.
Yeah, I would definitely try re-encoding. Also, you could check, just without re-encoding, you could look at the properties within Windows Explorer or Get Info on a Mac, and it'll let you know the encoding and or bit rates that are on those files. So
yeah, see if there's something in common with all of them.
Correct.
And sacrifice a chicken.
Yes, like a bit rate. Check the bit rates.
Check the bit rate.
Check the bit rates, yo. The other thing is that if these are older devices, and this is a little bit more obscure of an issue, but if it's an older device and specifically the hardware, the sound card is older, it may be possible that a driver on a new release is not 100% compatible. So you may not actually be able to play the sample rate that the file was recorded at, 22,050, for example. So it may just be a driver thing that won't be fixed with that version because you're running a newer OS on older hardware. So, and the second question.
Number 2 is a bit of a personal basis. My daily driver is a Galaxy Note 2. Recently, I upgraded my custom routing and ROMing to a 4.4 build. I've tried 3 different types of builds, and the same problem continues. The problem is this. The 3.5mm jack I typically use as a headphone device. When the screen is on, the device works perfectly fine. When the screen shuts off, however, whatever file I am playing at that time also shuts off. This goes anywhere from an MP3 file to a video file of some shape and form. Is there a troubleshooting solution to this as well? I've also contacted the developers, of which they have no issue or verifiable bug for this situation as well. If you could offer some assistance, that would also be appreciated. Once again, making sure that the towel rack stays the most popular fixture in every residence. I'm Piper the DJ. Good night.
I'd be real interested, Piper, if you could follow up on how these images are flashed. I'm going to make sure that all of the core OS files and drivers are properly being updated. especially if you don't have other users with the same hardware and the same image saying that they're having the same problem.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going from one ROM to a completely different one, I think everybody tells you to do a wipe before you flash it. I mean,
Three wipes.
Yeah, 3 wipes. Yeah, and wipe battery stats. But presumably, I'm assuming Viper knows that. So I mean, if you're completely flashing like back to stock and then installing like different ROMs or moving from one to the other, as long as you're wiping, then I don't think there should be any kind of unusual consequences that other people wouldn't see. So
well, it depends. If you're wiping a data partition, that doesn't necessarily properly upgrade hardware firmware that may be required. So, like I said, I would be interested to see the process going about the update. And like I said, especially see if people with the same exact hardware are having the same issue.
Yeah. Alternatively, if it won't go away, you could just switch to Bluetooth.
Or go back to the stock
stock
image.
I know that's not a fix, but
Right. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know if those are great answers or not, but hopefully your mileage may vary. Wipe, flash, wipe, flash, wipe is what I usually do. Oh, and then flash at the end, so you actually have something on your device. Cool. That is the show.
That's the show. It was a quick one tonight.
Well, it would have been.
Well, it was. I mean, we were still under an hour raw recording time.
Yeah. We were. Well, we hope you enjoyed the show. As always, send your feedback to podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also call the Piper hotline. That's 530-435-5627. Find us on Twitter at Android Police, Google+, and Facebook. Wipes so much he bleeds. Yuck. Wipe, flash, wipe, flash, wipe. Wipe. Flash.
Cameron, you should go back to the fancy vampire look. That was a good one.
Oh, did you like it?
Are you snorkeling now?
I was, yeah. So I totally had the, let's see.
So I've been using my G-Watch like all day since 8 in the morning. It's still a 51% battery. It's pretty impressive.
I've been impressed with the battery. I was skeptical going into it.
Yeah, I mean it's on all the time, and yeah, no, it's been 12 hours.
I would be impressed with the battery if I had one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get mine for free, so I'm just that kind of person.
I always get mine for free. I'm just that kind of person.
I'm going to leave a voicemail next week, guys. It's going to be real good. I'm going to use a fake name, though, so you're not going to know that it's me.
Oh, you have to use a voice changer.
Clever
Who is
devil,
this? Who is this caller who sounds suspiciously like Liam?
I think this is what we do. I think all of the hosts leave a voicemail, and then the live audience has to guess who was who.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That's very strange.
But you can't use your Satan voice, Bob. That's cheating.
Oh, I won't use my Satan voice. I've been known to fool my mother, which is especially impressive because she's dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
start writing the script for my.
What was that note? A B flat because she B flat?
Oh dear Lord.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm also going to depart now.
I'm not comfortable with dead mom jokes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, peace out.
Okay, bye.
I was just doing dead mom jokes because they were in the chat room earlier.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Got really uncomfortable with Brian there for a moment. Sorry, Brian. Shorter messages get transcribed. I think they have to be a minute or less. So. Oh, they have to guess by transcription. Whose call is whose? That's a good one.
Nice.
AP Bob. Hey, AP Bob, say hi to your dead mother for me. Ah, if only I were Catholic, I could do that. I'm gonna get in trouble. I guess I could. I don't know. I'm gonna stop the broadcast now. This is really awkward. And I'm sure I'm gonna offend someone soon if I haven't already. Yeah. Awkward. Yeah. My lady. Piper has a lady. Good for you, Piper.
Milady.
My lady. Oh, maybe it's a Game of Thrones reference.
Milady. Well, that's no. See, that's the thing. Is there's this.
Joking. I'm a dork.
There's this thing on Reddit.
You offend me all the time. You're welcome, Freak Fridel.
Bob is quite offensive, and you can't even smell him.
Says the guy who. Yeah. So I think if I do this long enough, I'll eventually forget that we're still broadcasting, and then it'll be funny.
I assumed you already had.
No, I'm still broadcasting. They can watch me edit the show. Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good night, Piper the DJ. Can I get a what? Mm-hmm. With a side of fries. Mm-hmm.